Everyone spends 40 years obsessing over the numbers on their financial spreadsheet. They consult advisors, track markets, and run calculators to figure out exactly how much capital they need to stop working, but almost nobody warns you about the silence. Within 48 hours of walking out of your career for the last time, 7 specific areas of your life will go completely quiet. Some of this silence is a beautiful, hard-earned relief. 2 of these areas will hit you with an intense psychological shock, a phenomenon known as the retirement decompression crisis that can completely derail your first 12 months of freedom if you aren't prepared for it. Most people view retirement as a permanent vacation, a perpetual weekend, but behavioral psychology shows that the novelty wears off between month 6 and month 12, leaving a profound vacuum. As we systematically deconstruct these 7 things today, you will notice how the silence shifts from external noise to deep internal changes. Number 4 is the exact point where most high achievers mentally break, and it is the one we are going to solve. Let's look at what actually happens to human identity when the global noise stops. First, the digital echo chamber goes dark. For decades, your daily relevance was validated by the constant friction of communication. Your smartphone was a non-stop engine of Slack pings, Microsoft Teams notifications, WhatsApp groups, and an inbox that never stopped filling up. You felt essential because you were the bottleneck or the solution to 100 daily corporate problems. When you retire, that digital infrastructure vanishes overnight, your company access is revoked, the accounts are closed, and the device goes completely dead. For the first 2 weeks, this feels like an incredible weight has been lifted, but by week 3, the total absence of notifications can make you feel culturally and professionally invisible. Consider a study conducted on retired executives. Over 60% admitted to checking their empty personal email accounts multiple times an hour simply to replicate the physical habit of digital engagement. They missed the friction of being busy. The strategic pivot. To survive this first silence, you must transition from being a passive consumer of digital noise to an intentional creator. Rebuild your digital environment, switch your notifications off for corporate media, and turn them on for private communities, passion projects, or localized networks where you control the inputs and outputs. Do not let your sense of daily momentum be dictated by an empty inbox. Second, your transactional social circle goes quiet. We like to believe that the people we eat lunch with, share stress with, and sit next to in boardrooms for 10 years are our lifelong friends. But sociology teaches us a tougher lesson. The vast majority of workplace relationships are proximity friendships. They are bound together entirely by a shared physical environment and a common corporate mission. When you remove the office floor, you remove the glue holding those relationships together. Within 3 months of retirement, the invitations to lunch stop, the text messages dry up, and you realize you no longer share a common vocabulary with your former colleagues. It isn't malicious and it isn't personal. It is simply that you now inhabit fundamentally different realities. It can be deeply painful to realize how much of your social life was tied to your corporate title rather than your human character. When that calendar clears out, the weekends can suddenly feel massive and empty. The strategic pivot: accept that your social circle is shrinking in quantity, but look at it as an opportunity to increase its quality. True social connection in retirement requires deliberate design. You cannot rely on a company to hand you a community anymore. You have to actively seek out tribal environments based on shared values, philosophy, or legacy projects, not shared employment. Number 3 is the literal, physical quiet of your mornings. The aggressive rush hour panic, the blaring alarm at 6 a.m., the race through traffic, the scheduled airport transfers, all of it stops. Initially, waking up without an alarm feels like total luxury. You sleep in, drink coffee slowly, and watch the world go to work. But human biology runs on circadian rhythms and psychological. By month 2, waking up into a total vacuum of schedule can induce a subtle, creeping lethargy. Without a structural anchor at the start of your day, your sleep patterns can begin to drift, your energy drops, and a sense of aimlessness can take hold. Psychologists refer to this as structural drift, when the lack of an external schedule causes a person's internal discipline to dissolve. The strategic pivot, the antidote to structural drift, is autonomy, not chaos. You must replace the corporate schedule with a personal ritual. Wake up at a consistent time, not because an employer demands it, but because your personal legacy demands it. Design a morning ritual centered around physical movement, deep reading, or creative focus. The goal is to ensure that when you open your eyes, the quiet of the morning feels like a blank canvas, not an empty void. This brings us to number 4, the absolute silence of the applause machine. And as I mentioned earlier, this is the exact psychological barrier where most high-achieving professionals experience an identity crisis. Think about how a career functions. It is a highly engineered feedback loop. You close a transaction, you get a commission, you solve a crisis, you get praise from the board. You build a successful campaign, you get a higher title and a larger bonus. The system is designed to constantly look at you and say, you are valuable, you matter, you succeeded. When you retire, you step entirely outside of that loop. There are no quarterly reviews in retirement. No one gives you a standing ovation for managing your personal portfolio successfully. No one is clapping for individuals whose self-worth, ego, and dopamine loops have been hardwired to corporate achievement for 40 years. This silence can feel absolutely deafening. Without that external validation, they begin to feel completely useless. This is why so many high-earning professionals unretire within 12 months, not because they need the money, but because they are addicted to the applause. The strategic pivot. To master this transition, you must learn to generate internal validation. You have to write your own report card. Shift your metrics of success away from external scale, revenue, and corporate approval, and move them toward internal mastery, autonomy, and personal impact. Success must be redefined as how deeply you control your time, how thoroughly you look after your health, and how intentionally you mentor others without expecting a corporate title in return. Fifth, the status noise stops completely. Consider what happens at almost any social gathering, dinner party, or networking event around the world. Within 2 minutes of meeting someone new, they will look you in the eye and ask the standard global question. So what do you do? For your entire adult life, you had an automatic, highly authoritative shield to present. You could say, I run a media agency, I'm a senior engineer, I manage a performance marketing team, or I am the VP of operations. That single sentence immediately communicated your status, your intellect, and your place in the social hierarchy. But when that title goes quiet and you simply answer, I'm retired, you will notice a subtle, fascinating shift in how people look at you. The conversation often shifts gears. The social curiosity drops. You are no longer seen as an active player in the economic game, but as someone sitting on the sidelines. The strategic pivot. This forced silence is actually a massive gift, because it forces you to answer a far more profound question. Who are you when you strip away your job title? If you are only interesting because of your corporate card, you have an identity deficit. Use this phase to build a lifestyle philosophy so compelling that when people ask what you do, your answer focuses on your current passions, your ongoing intellectual pursuits, and your creative projects, not a past title at a company that has already replaced you. Sixth is the internal cognitive chatter. Your brain is not a static organ. It is a highly adaptive muscle. For 40 years, it has been lifting heavy psychological weights. It has been processing complex data, calculating risks, navigating office politics, and making high-stakes decisions under immense time pressure. It is used to operating at a high cognitive frequency. When you step away from the career, that external demands machine stops turning. But your brain doesn't just automatically shut off its processing power. That massive amount of cognitive energy still needs somewhere to go. If that mental engine is left idling in total silence without complex problems to solve, it will inevitably turn inward. This is the neurological root of why many retirees experience sudden onset anxiety, hypochondria, or become completely obsessed with micromanaging minor household problems. The brain is simply desperately hunting for a problem to solve, even if it has to manufacture one. The strategic pivot. You must keep the cognitive engine engaged, but redirect its power toward things you completely own. This is the time to acquire high-friction skills, learn a complex language, master a technical instrument, study advanced philosophy, or build an automated digital business. The goal isn't economic survival, it is neurological preservation. Keep the mental weights heavy, but choose exactly which weights you want to lift. Finally, number 7, and this is by far the most liberating silence of them all, the consumer urgency goes quiet. Think deeply about how much of your past consumption was actually just a coping mechanism for workplace stress. The aggressive retail therapy on a Friday night to numb a brutal week in the office. The need to buy an overly expensive car to prove your status to colleagues you don't even like. The thousands of dollars spent on high-end business wardrobes, convenience fees, and luxury escapes just to desperately decompress for 7 days before flying back into the fire. When the underlying chronic stress of the 9-to-5 corporate game leaves your central nervous system, a fascinating psychological shift occurs. The urgent desire to buy things to alter how you feel completely disappears. Your financial overhead drops dramatically, not because you are forcing yourself to budget, but because your inner peace has rendered those status symbols obsolete. You realize you don't need to purchase an identity anymore because you finally own your time. The ultimate secret to navigating the silence of retirement is realizing that the goal isn't to figure out ways to make random noise again. The goal is to become the intentional conductor of your own life. The silence isn't a void meant to scare you. It is a blank acoustic space waiting for you to decide what meaningful sounds, projects, and relationships you want to fill it with. Do not just plan your financial portfolio. Design your days, protect your mind, and build an identity that outlives your career. If you are currently planning your exit, or if you are navigating this transition right now, drop a comment below. Which of these 7 silences are you anticipating or feeling the most? Let's map out the strategy together in the comments section.